Y'all, do yourself a favor right now. I want you to share this episode with every single person you know that has an online program. If you have video content of any kind, if you teach a course, if you teach a membership, if you have any type of training, if you have a podcast, you are going to want to listen to this episode. You're going to want to get access to this tool. This is a tool that allows you to customize an AI bot in just a few minutes with your own content. And there are 6 incredible ways that you can use it to be able to serve your community better and create a more efficient and optimized business. I'm going into detail on those 6 ways today, and I promise you it is absolutely going to blow your mind. Y'all, I am so excited for today's episode. I have been testing the tool behind the scenes and rolling it out with my clients, and I cannot wait to share it with you. It is a game changer, and it's going to revolutionize the way that we serve our communities. Wait, what? Did the community person just praise an AI tool? Yes, I did. I am actually a fan of AI, and if you are not a fan of it, I would encourage you to have an open mind during this episode. Now, this isn't the first time I've talked about AI on this podcast. In episode 50, I had a discussion with an AI and deep tech expert, Dr. Jackie Taylor, along with some of you amazing community members, and we discussed all kinds of positives and concerns around the world of AI. So if you want a more philosophical conversation, go and listen to episode 50. But I'm telling you, have an open mind. You do not want to miss what is happening in this space right now. This is going to empower you to serve your community in all new ways. And I'm going to be the one to let you in on this secret early on. So here's the deal. AI is never going to replace human-to-human connection. That is one of the reasons that I say building and creating a masterful community should be your business's #1 priority right now, because it's going to be the one thing that AI is not able to replace. So, how do we use AI in order to create those human-to-human connections better? How do we use it to create a more thriving community? Well, prior to this tool, I really wasn't sure how it was possible. Now, there were a few things that you could do here and there to optimize your content or your social post, and a variety of things that you could do with tools like ChatGPT, for example. But you couldn't really use it in a very intentional way to serve your community. Well, with this tool, all of that has changed. Most AI tools, they're really generic, and it's not really helpful when you're trying to serve your community around your specific content. In fact, sometimes it takes more time to edit than it's really worth. Just ask me how I know. My team and I use AI to support us in taking episodes like this and turning them into multiple pieces of content. And sometimes it doesn't really understand what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really understand my voice. It doesn't really know the content. So I was getting really frustrated, and I wanted a tool to be developed that would know my content inside and out and leverage that content to create responses. Well, thankfully, I have some friends of mine that were already working on a product like this, and they developed an AI tool and let me in on the inside early on. This tool allows you to easily customize an AI chat to your content and only your content. Not generic stuff scraped from the internet. It's your brain in chat form. Now, it's not just spitting back quotes and responses from your videos or text. It's consuming, it is learning, it is thinking and responding intelligently with the knowledge base of your content. Now, if you're not familiar with how AI works, this probably sounds a little bit insane to you. And it did to me at first too, until I experienced it. I saw how I could put my own content from my Cultivate course and asked questions of this new chatbot, and it intelligently understood the concepts. It didn't just regurgitate back what I said, but it actually was able to apply what it had learned. Now, I'm going to share with you 6 specific ways that you can use this tool to have a more thriving community and improve your systems and processes and all sorts of things. Now, I'm telling you that number 6 is absolutely going to blow your mind. In fact, I didn't know this was possible, but I thought I would push the envelope of this tool. And when it did it, I was shocked. So you definitely want to listen all the way through so you get to number 6. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this tool? How do I get access to it? And I'm just going to tell you that this is in the very early stages, but I can get you access to it. It's a little complicated right now. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I'm going to walk you through how to get access, how you can test it for free before you have to move to the paid version. And you can get all of that at ai4community.com. That's AIFOR community.com. When you go to ai4community.com, you are going to be walked through exactly how to get this tool. Now, I'll share that link again. Don't go anywhere. You are going to want to hear these 6 ways that you can use this AI tool in your business. All right, the first way that you can use this custom AI tool is to create customized community engagement posts. Now, you're probably familiar with using tools like ChatGPT to come up with potential social media posts, community posts, and content, right? If you haven't used it for that yet, you can definitely use it to get some generic ideas around the topic that you teach. But what if you could get specific engagement posts, what I call sand posts, that are related and connected to your content specifically? That's what you can do with this custom AI tool. So in my community training course, I teach about 3 different kinds of content you need to be posting in your community. And that last one are the sand posts. That's the posts that are generating discussion and engagement in your community. So one of my clients is utilizing this tool right now, and it is a self-image membership. So I asked this tool the question, what questions can I ask to create engagement around the topic of personal style? So if you could ask the same question to ChatGPT, and it's going to basically come up with some generic responses and questions that you can ask. But this gave me a response that had specific questions that were related to what she actually teaches. So here's a few of these. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to be showing you a lot of this along the way. So if you are not watching on YouTube and you want to head over there, you can go to communitycreatorspodcast.com, communitycreatorspodcast.com, and that will take you any one of those over to the YouTube channel so that you can watch this on YouTube. But here are some of the responses. What is your style statement as it relates to defining your brand, living your brand, and dressing your brand? How do you want your appearance to reflect back to you the self-image that you are cultivating? What clothing brands appeal to the self-expression you wish to convey to the world? How will you dress in alignment with your personal goals so that who you embody and reflect back to yourself is a reminder of the life that you're moving toward? Do you hear that? That is not generic questions about personal style. This is reflecting the tone, the voice, the teachings of my client, Tanya Lee, in these engagement questions. So you can utilize this tool with all of its intelligence generated around your content. You can utilize it to create these sand type engagement posts for your community, which I know can feel pretty stale over time if you're the community manager that's creating those. All right, so that's use number 1. Use case number 2 is to improve community coaching and support responses. This is probably one of the most common uses I'm going to be recommending my clients use this for. Now, hopefully you know that I recommend using something called the ARC response model that really requires you to acknowledge the person for the question that they asked, to reference a resource when you can, and connect them to another member of the community if you're able to do that in your responses. So quick responses that answer questions are not really what I recommend, right? And it takes a little bit more time to respond at that deep of a level. So if you're responding in the community, it can take a while to get really good responses. If you're a coach who's responding to something like an ask the coach or a written in coaching question, like a lot of my clients have, those responses take a while. If you're getting questions and support related to content, it can take a while to find the right resource, to find the right video. So, what if you could streamline that process? What if, when you get a post in the community that needs a little bit more of an in depth response, you could post it into this tool and it would leverage what it knows about the content to generate a response that you can modify? What if, when somebody emails into support looking for a resource, you could ask this tool and find the best video and all of the training to help answer their question? What if, as a coach, you needed to do a coaching response and you use this tool to get you 80% of the way there, right? It's going to start that response for you with the context of what's being taught inside of the program, and then you can modify it a little bit more. How much time would that save you and your community leaders and your coaches and your support team? And how much better of a response would you be able to give? Now, here's the really cool part about this tool. It doesn't just work from custom content, it actually references where it's getting that content from. So it's going to give you an intelligent response that pulls together information from lots of different videos, but then it's actually going to show you the exact reference in the video. It's going to say 47 minutes in on this training from Module 1, Lesson 2, and then you can click that and it's going to link directly to it. So not only are you getting the response, but you're actually getting pointed to the specific training videos, the specific lessons inside of your course or membership that are going to support the further learning and more in-depth discovery for your members. And that's a big part of my ARC response model, that middle R, which is reference a resource. So not only are we going to get faster and better responses, but we're also going to be able to find that resource that they need a lot faster. So I definitely want you to think about using this to support your community managers and your coaches and your support team. Will it ever replace them? I don't believe it will, but it can be very supportive and help them be more efficient in their work, which means that they get to serve more people at a higher level. All right, use case number 3 is to increase consumption of content. How many of you feel like you have a library of content that is just sitting there not being utilized because your members are only looking at the latest content that's been released? This is the case for the majority of my clients, and they're always trying to find ways to point people back to really great content that may be from a year ago or 2 years ago or a few months ago. Since this tool actually references the video content that it's utilizing to respond and answer questions, it's going to be digging up past videos for your members, right? So whether you're the one getting those videos dug up that you're putting in the community response, or whether you're giving your community direct access to this tool, which you can do, by the way, it's going to showcase for them content that they may have not otherwise referenced. So going back to the example of my client who has the self-image membership, I asked it a question about performing a closet audit. And the response that it gave me referenced a video from 2021. It went back to 2021 to pull for me the best content in that membership around a closet audit. Now, it definitely gave me the steps and it gave me the response right there, but it showcased for me the video that I could watch if I wanted a deeper understanding. And now that means that we are actually pointing members to more content that they have access to. They're seeing even more value in the membership and the course because you're making it that much easier for them to leverage all of the content that you have. So it's definitely going to help increase consumption of your content, especially your past content. Okay, use case number 4 is one that some of you are really going to love because you know that your support inbox is always full of support tickets. And oftentimes support teams like to do the really quick formulaic responses. They like to close the tickets first that they can hit that macro or that canned response for, and just solve the problem. And they tend to maybe push off the ones that take a little bit more work, right? So, not only can the support team use this themselves to generate really solid responses, but imagine if you created a support chatbot utilizing this tool. So, it doesn't just have to be training content. You can create multiple chatbots, if you will, multiple plugins based on different sets of video content. And there may or may not be text content coming too. Again, I'm telling you, I have the insider knowledge on this tool, so you want to stay connected to me. Okay, so imagine this. You have videos that walk people through frequently asked questions or support questions in your site. And you put all of those into a little folder, and then you say, all right, I want to create a little chatbot or plugin with all of this content. So now you have taken your support team and your FAQ and your support questions, and you have turned that into a beautiful little chatbot. And so when people have a question and they go to your support page, they can ask the question first to your support bot and get that response that will take them to the video for them to learn more. Just imagine how that could reduce support tickets. Now, maybe you've seen something like this before. You've seen those little generic support bots that you can ask it a question and it's going to be like, oh, this or that, or click this button and do this thing. This is a little different, right? Because this would take them directly to a video that could answer their question, and it would also intelligently answer their question based on the content in all of the videos. So this is something you can definitely do. You can use this to create a support bot, and you wouldn't have to buy yet another tool to do this experience. You can use this one tool to create multiple chatbot experiences based on the function that you want for that chatbot. So if you want a support chatbot, you can upload a whole bunch of videos and maybe some text in the future to allow you to create that support chatbot experience where people can ask the where do I find and what if I do this and how do I do that questions about your membership. So it will really help reduce support tickets. Okay, number 5. This is one that you're going to need to think outside of the box for, but this is for all teams. Whether you have a corporate business or a franchise or an online business or an offline business, if you have a team, listen up, my friend. This is going to make all the difference in the world because use case number 5 is increasing team efficiency to create more space for human-to-human connection. If you haven't yet, I want you to go back and listen to episode 12, where I talk about the value of automation, but how you need to be careful that you're not alienating people, right? So this is really a way to use automation in your business for the purpose of creating space on your team for more human-to-human connection. So we just talked about this concept of creating custom plugins with very specific purposes, like for example, a support plugin. Well, what if you had one that you used internally? Inside of your team, you probably have training videos and SOPs or standard operating procedures that teach team members how to do their job and how to function within the team. They may have questions about how do I submit something to payroll, or how do I request time off, or where do I find the XYZ thing, or how do I upload a podcast episode? All sorts of questions. Now, if all of those training videos lived in one library, and then you use that library to create a custom plugin, you now have a customized HR chatbot that can support your team with those kinds of questions. So chances are, if you're the business owner and you don't have an ops person, you're fielding a lot of those questions right now. You're the one talking to people about payroll. You're the one talking to people about how to request time off. You're the one showing somebody for the 15th time, like how to upload a podcast episode. Imagine if you could use a plugin on your browser to record a quick screen share of how to do something, or how to access a document, or how to submit time off, or whatever it might be. And that goes into a library that this chatbot, this plugin, is able to learn from that library. And then your team members have a place where they can go and ask these sorts of questions around your procedures, your policies, your how-to, your training for your team. Not only is that going to prevent you or your ops person from getting all of these unnecessary questions, it's going to help your team members feel more empowered. They're going to get their answers faster, and it also allows for cross-training. So before, there would be one person that maybe is the person who knew how to do this entire process. And yes, you try and create SOPs and all of that, but it's hard to find the right training video and find the right SOP in the library of all of it. Well, now you can just ask the chatbot. If Sally, your podcast person, is out of town and nobody else knows how to upload to YouTube, as long as Sally has done a quick screen share video showing how to upload the podcast to YouTube, then all somebody would have to do is search in this chatbot, how do I upload a podcast episode to YouTube? And they are going to get that answer. And they're also going to get a link to the full video showing them exactly how to do it. Mind blown! Way more efficiency in your business, which means that you get to focus on the things that really generate profit and create more human-to-human connection. I love that automation helps us do that. Okay, we've talked 5 ways so far, so I'm just going to recap for you. Number 1, create custom community engagement posts, those sand posts that get people talking that are directly related to your content. Number 2, improve your community, your coaching, and your support responses. Number 3, increase consumption of your content, because remember, it's going to help dig up that past content, whether it's doing it for your team to reference or whether people have direct access and can see those references. It's going to be showcasing that past content. Number 4, reducing support tickets by creating a specified chat bot around your support articles and content. And number 5, increasing team efficiency by creating an HR chat bot, right? This creates more space for that human-to-human connection because you and your team are operating more efficiently, and it allows you to cross-train really quickly within your team. I told you at the beginning of this episode that you wanted to stay for number 6. And I'm seriously about to blow your mind because this blew my mind as well. I want you to imagine that you have a framework inside of your business, something that you teach that you want and encourage people to apply. So for example, for me, I teach something I've already referenced in this episode called the ARC response model. It's a very specific way that I encourage people to respond to community posts. The A stands for acknowledge, the R stands for reference or resource, and the C stands for connect. I have a training video on this inside of my Cultivate Community training course. Now I want you to imagine that this chatbot doesn't just know the framework, meaning if I were to ask it, what is the ARC response model, it should be able to spit back to me what A stands for, what R stands for, what C stands for. I want you to imagine that you can ask it the question, how would I use the ARC response model in my business? Be pretty cool, right? Where it could actually tell you, oh, here's some ways that you can use this. You could use this to answer coaching responses or to reply inside of your community. Again, pretty cool. But what if we take it to a whole nother level? Now I want you to imagine that this tool doesn't just know your framework and know where it gets applied, but it's actually capable of applying it in certain contextual situations. I mean, this is insane to me, and I'm going to walk you through an example of how this happened. So, perfect example. I talked about the ARC response model, right? What if I ask it this question? Please craft a response to this comment using the ARC response model. Then I gave it a fictitious comment that would be posted in my community or maybe sent to me via email. Sally asked, I have a member that is always complaining about the time of our live calls. I want to serve her, but I also am not available for the night calls that she wants. How do I tell her this? Now remember, I didn't just ask it to give me a response. I asked it to give me a response using the ARC response model, using my framework, okay? And this is the response. Sally, I hear that you have a member who's consistently complaining about the timing of your live calls. That must be challenging for both you and the member. Did you hear that? That part was the A of the ARC response model, which is to acknowledge. to express understanding and empathy. Have you tried acknowledging her concerns and seeking clarity on what she needs? You could say something like, I understand that the timing of our calls is not working for you. Can you tell me more about what time would work better for you? Hold up. This is getting very meta right now because not only is it responding with the ARC response model, but it is telling Sally to respond with the ARC response model. It's encouraging her to use the ARC response model, okay? I go on. Once you have a better understanding of her needs, you can reference a resource, hello, that's the R, that may be helpful. For example, if you have recorded versions of your live calls, you could suggest that she watch the replay at a time that works better for her. Alternatively, you could suggest that she connect with other members who may be available at a time that works better for her. Well, that was the C. That's the C. It just right there used my ARC response model and applied it to this specific situation. It goes on to say it's important to keep in mind the business goals and give one clear call to action, which is something I talk about. If the live calls are a key component of your program, you may want to emphasize the importance of attending them and suggest that she try to make adjustments to her schedule if possible. However, if attending the live calls is not essential, you could suggest alternative ways for her to engage with the content. In summary, Sally, I recommend acknowledging your members' concerns, seeking clarity on her needs, and referencing a resource that may be helpful. Keep in mind the business goals and give one clear call to action. By doing so, you can help your member feel seen, heard, and understood while also finding a solution that works for both of you. What just happened? A computer just responded to Sally with more depth than I ever would. My mind was absolutely blown when I read this, not because it gave a long response, but it actually gave a thoughtful response that completely leveraged my ARC response model and taught Sally how to use that model herself. So I want you to just pause right now and I want you to think about the tools and the frameworks that you teach inside of your business. And I want you to imagine that your members are no longer left to themselves to try and apply that to their unique situation. And they're also not 100% reliant on you to apply it. But now they actually have a tool where they can go in, they can ask this tool to utilize your particular framework and apply it to their specific situation. How incredible is this? The entire purpose of us having a community with our online programs is to help people make more progress. I talk about this in another episode. I don't know the number of it right now, but I talk about how progress is the goal, not engagement. Yes, connection is awesome, but the whole purpose of the community is to help people make progress. And they do that when they feel safe and they feel more connected and they feel more supported. And this is going to be an incredible way to support them in that. How awesome is this? I am so excited about this tool. Now, again, this is a brand new tool and it's in its early stages. I'm going to be able to get you early access to it and show you how to work around the system and get it in to your business. But here's what I love about this. This tool is only going to get better, and it is specifically created with content creators and community leaders in mind. In fact, I have a direct line to the founder, and I are discussing often how you all, my amazing community, can be leveraging this and the changes that they can be making to make it even easier to leverage this. We've talked about some pretty cool stuff that we may have coming in the future, even stuff that may be exclusive to my community. So I want you to get into this. I want you to start utilizing this. I want you to test it, play with it internally. There's a couple ways that you can incorporate it internally, as I mentioned, and you can even start rolling it out to your members depending on the situation, right? This is new. There's still some integrations yet to come, but I want you to get in on this now and start leveraging it now, okay? So go to AI4community.com. That's for FOR, so AIFOR community.com, so that you can learn about this tool, so that you can get the access to it. You can start getting your content in there and training this chatbot on how to utilize your content and your frameworks so that your members can absolutely maximize their use of all of the amazing content inside of your program and your team can speed up the process of being able to support your members.